how old are these trees?
Oh my goodness.
I don't remember.
I just tell you now, when I went to grade school, those trees were about that high, and we hid behind them when we played hide and seek. That was about
And-
1935, 36.
But there was,
That's Ladies' Aid.
Yeah.
there was
We
trees
have a good
that,
picture.
that school children destroyed some trees down in there, what they said was their property. And that's why Mr. Lang planted these pine trees to
On
replace the ones that the kids are supposed to have destroyed.
Destroyed where? On the, for the Frederick maids or who?
Yeah, that land belonged to Frederickson.
Okay.
The children used to play in there, and they said that we destroyed some of their trees or something, and that's why Mr. Lang planted the pine tree.
So these pine trees here then,
Yeah,
and what year would that have been, do you
I
think?
have no idea.
So that would have be prior to the 30s. So these things are old, yeah. What was the other thing we did?
This is the
Oh,
ladies'
the
aid.
Sunday school.
Oh, okay.
We have some of those pictures. If we dig
Is
them
there
out,
still a ladies' aid?
No,
No.
just Dog Guild, very few people left in it.
Well, there's a man in it.
Well, maybe that was a husband that was there,
Okay.
or a pastor. I don't know who was the preacher. Hopeless.
Alan, would you like to tell us about Selma Lauer?
Well, I sure remember Selma Laura. Everybody had her as the first Sunday school teacher. Then I think it was Ardell. Then I moved up to John Folstead. And I don't remember beyond that.
Floyd Beck.
No, I never had Floyd Beck.
Oh, that's
Tell us
when I
about
started.
tell us about Selma Lauer.
And I'll tell you,
She had a good memory.
She was a hard worker, I'll tell you. I mean, she walked back from the Hannistown to the Teely farm there in Montgomery and carried her own lunch yet. Slaved there all day, then get back in the evening.
Tell us about her Sunday school class.
Well, we had them wee little chairs about that high. We all sit on them in a circle there.
What was so special about her class?
Everybody loved her.
Why?
Well, she was just so nice.
Could she tell a story?
Well, I can't remember her stories anymore, but
I do. I remember when we used to have our plays on the stage, she would always have a part in that, and she'd be talking to, I don't know, was it like a man was sitting there or a woman, and they were having a conversation, and she was conversing with them.
She gave a monologue.
yeah, I remember that.
She was excellent at that.
Do you remember anything about her memory?
She had a memory like nobody else did. You ask her something, she could tell you from way back.
When my children, she was still alive when I was teaching, and I brought the children in, and she would recite a whole chapter of the Bible.
Oh, yes.
And my children would look at, and their eyes would just pop and she said, I can do this in German too. So she could do it in either German or English. And she, I remember the children, other people saying that her stories were very alive. She could tell, and she always used the big picture rolls.
I was going to tape, what she did, and I always kept putting it off until it was too late. And now I regret that I didn't go ahead and do it.
Special lady.
And Mrs. Nickel, did any of you, your children probably had Mrs. Nickel as a Sunday school teacher?
They really liked her. She
And
had
she-
the real small ones.
She was very much like Selma, very much animated, telling the story.
Every year, John Folsom would always get us a poem grant.
Yes.
I never knew how to eat them, what to do with them.
Why did he give you a pomegranate? Do you know?
Oh, yes, I'm orange colored.
Why did he do it though?
I don't know why.
Christmas time.
Yeah, Christmas time. They always gave them out.
Pomegranate's very difficult to eat, isn't it?
I didn't try to eat it even.
It's all those little teeny
They're
seeds.
full of seeds, I remember. Oh, another Sunday school teacher was Floyd Beck. And Floyd Beck always wore a white suit, white shoes. Do you know what we kids made a name for him? White Duck. We called him White Duck.
Do you want, I think this might be an appropriate time too, to talk about, did you go to a funeral home in those days when someone died? Can you tell us what was done instead?
They took them right to the house. Whenever Lady Walkman's first husband died in 1934, she had him at the house.
My mother was at the house.
I remember that. And the Fredericks, they were all at their house.
And tell us how did that work? They brought the coffin to the house, and did people come to visit them?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there was a watch night. There was always someone awake, sitting there all night long, and until the people came to visit.
And what was that a symbol of, do you think?
I really don't know, I was a little kid. I don't know.
But that was a very different type of thing for families, and it drew families, I'm sure it drew them together, having that.
It was creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember my grandmother being at home too.
Teacher Arndt.
Yeah.
You had teacher on. You had
Yes.
teacher on.
Do you
Yeah.
remember anything about him, Elmer?
That year was a wasted school year because we didn't listen to him, and he was trying to teach and also trying to preach because we did not have a pastor at the time. And that's the time that your mother took us kids. Teacher Arndt was always late coming to school, and your mother got us all together and we hid down behind the barn.
Saintly
And
bad one?
And he came down finally and saw where we were at and got us. We never was punished or anything.
Whenever Elmer Montag went to school here, they rigged up a bell underneath the floor of the teachers, and they had a string tied from there going up to his desk, and he had a pulley there, and they brought it up where the leg of the desk went down, and every once in a while he'd pull that string, the bell would ring out on the teacher's desk. He didn't know whether it was.
He would get about 10 feet away from the door, and we kids would get snowballs and trying to hit him. And he would run for the school.
So he liked to play with you.
Right.
Teacher Arndt didn't last but 1 year.
Well, he was here 1 year.
And Teacher Mueller was here for much longer.
Pardon?
Mueller was here for much longer.
How long was he here?
1 year.
No, Mueller.
Oh, Miller. I have no idea. I had him the first 2 years. I don't know how long he was here before that.
You all seem to have the same impression of Arndt, though.
I was surprised when he told me that was your mother.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
was tore down up there and rebuilt here not too many years ago.
No, I didn't know that.
The side pieces were ready to fall down. They tore it down and rebuilt it back up again.
There
Yeah,
are
the-
great pictures and a great story of when
The
they
tower was
completed
a
it.
lot higher than
Yeah,
it
it's
is
not hard,
now.
it used to be.
It was like a point too, wasn't it?
And when they finished building the tower, they had an elevator to put all the brick and stuff up. And all the school children went up there, and we have pictures of us standing up there.
With Teacher Arndt.
Was Teacher Arndt there then that year?
No, that was Teacher Nickel.